In this video, I want to talk about why a lot of writing advice may not help you write, and why you should still study it. I'm making this video because so many people have asked me for help dealing with some writing rule that they can't follow. It can mess you up when some famous teacher or great artist lays out some rule that completely destroys how you work or what you're trying to do. So, let's just break this down a little. Screenwriting is mostly taught in one of three ways. In the my experience approach, someone who's done it tells you what they figured out about how to do this thing. This is basically what I'm doing right now. Obviously, the advantage here is they actually did it. The problem is, maybe the way they did it is just the way they did it. It may not help you. The second main method of teaching screenwriting is the academic approach, where you look at great work and analyze why it's great. This is how you learn about art in school, and it's a good way to get a hold of the basic language and history of an art. It shows you possibilities. But the academic approach does not teach you how to make art. The process by which you make something is very different from the experience of consuming it. Think about riding a roller coaster versus building a roller coaster. Certainly the builder has to understand the experience, the feeling of the ride, but the builder also has to understand the working parts, the design, the construction, the physics of it, even the philosophy. What kind of ride do they want it to be? So as an artist, you are coming at education with a very specialized need, which the third way of teaching is trying to serve. The formula approach says if you study great art and follow its patterns, your work will be great too. But since you can't just copy great art, the formula approach tries to figure out rules, paradigms, archetypes, structures, work methods, and then says, do that. And that's a very logical plan. Except that art just doesn't work that way. Knowing how someone else did it is only part of how you actually create. I can tell you that a great building was built with a hammer, and I can show you exactly how the great hammer swinger swung that hammer. And at the end of all that, you will have no idea whether you can swing a hammer, and if you can, what kind of thing you can make with it. The most important thing is for you to pick up a hammer and try it out. You need to find out what's the best way for you to swing a hammer, or maybe find out that hammers are not your thing and you need to find a way to build your great building with a different tool. Because, and this is what freaks so many people out, art is a thing you do. It's not a thing you get the answer to. People generally do not like teachers who say, not only do I not have the answer, but there actually is no answer. A lot of students are like, wait, I'm paying for this? But psych, you're not paying for this, so you might as well hear me out. All writing rules are only theories. The history of art is full of great artists who declared their approach to art absolute and final. And all of them had some interesting point to make, and none of them were right about the absolute and final thing. When a famous teacher or a great artist or even me says all stories must do something or can't do something, it's not actually a fact, it's not science, you don't have to do it. Look, theorists and teachers honestly want to solve the problem of being an artist. And people in the art business really want some kind of reassurance that they are not going to lose their money. And artists want some way to know if they are doing it right. But the only rule of storytelling I can think of that seems to hold true no matter what is all stories seem to have a beginning and an end. But I can't even say that's absolute. I am sure there are ways to get around that. The truth is, art is subjective. Different people want art to do very different things. We even experience the same art differently at different parts of our lives. And not only that, but art rules come from the culture and technology and business within which they are produced. Most of the current rules of screenwriting actually come from a very short, specific period of Hollywood history from the 1980s to the early 2000s. And they were formulated by looking around at what was successful at the time, which is like looking around 240 million years ago and saying, dinosaurs are the absolute eternal structure of life on Earth. So, for example, one current dinosaur is the supposedly universal 3-act structure, which everyone is breaking down into minute details, but is clearly not going to work for a 68-hour streaming series. Or, I love this one, the rule that television scripts are broken into 5 acts, which actually came into being because they needed breaks for commercials, and an act was just the thing in between commercials. It's not some deep insight into the basic structure of storytelling. But here's the problem. The fact that rules are not absolute or universal does not, unfortunately, mean the rules are worthless. Screenwriting is a difficult, demanding profession which requires specific, obscure skills and knowledge. So, rules, even though they are just theories and opinions, are valuable. They are often based in very real observations. They can give you a form to work with, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Plus, often, the business wants you to work within their rules. So yes, learn some rules, follow them. Just be on the lookout for these possible problems. The checkbox problem. You can begin to think that giving a label to something or fitting it into a pattern assures you that it works. It may not. So much mediocre work is counting on the formula to deliver instead of doing the actual work artists have to do. Magic is not transitive. The fact that something was great in some other movie does not mean if you put it into your movie, then your movie will be great. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. No specific thing makes a work of art great. Otherwise, everyone would use that all the time and everything would be great. The "you're not them" problem. The thing you admire didn't exist when they made it, so the world you're working in is not the one they worked in. And you can't actually do the thing they did. You have to do your thing in your world. That's what they did. Which kind of brings us to the inevitability problem. Analyzing finished artworks can create a false impression that they are somehow inevitable, or that you know how they were created. It wasn't, and you don't. That illusion of inevitability is one of the most damaging things to artists because it denies the essential experience of making art, which is, there is no path. Art is making choices. You work it out as you go along, every single time. You have to make your choice and hope people feel like it was inevitable. You never really know how it's going to work until it's too late. It's very useful and really fun to hear from people who were there when a thing was made. Seek that out. Explore behind the scenes and making of books, commentary tracks, videos of panel discussions, podcasts, or interviews. The point of behind the scenes stuff is not to say to yourself, "Oh, I should do what they did." It's to say, there is no way I would have known that's how they got to it. So when I'm working, I should stay open to the process. Knowing a lot of the history of your art form, and art history in general, helps you see the many possibilities and keeps you from getting pushed around by theory. Rules are part of what you need, but every work of art is unique, mixing up all kinds of variables. Any script is a combination of formula, which you could also call rules, and which come from the genre, the business, and the tradition you're working in. Influences, which is all that stuff you love or hate or learned from. The Zeitgeist, which means spirit of the times, the culture you live in, your world and historical moment, whether you fit into it or not. And if you're lucky enough to get produced, production reality, which is everything from casting and financing to budget and locations and power plays by various players. Plus, of course, you. Your experiences, your vision, your style. So, basically, my theory about theories is have as many rules and theories in your toolbox as you can carry. Know how they work, and then use them only when they help get a particular job done. Rules are tools. Try them out, bend them, break them, mix and match. Take what you like and use what you need. Put the rest back in your toolbox. Be an artist who endlessly studies art and says, look at all the different ways to do this. What can I learn from this? What do I want to go against? How does it work? What can I use? If you want to follow a rule, that's a legit thing to do. It can make for a good script. It just can't make for every script. Follow rules by choice. Spend less time checking yourself against someone's belief that all movies are secretly alike, and more time on the unique, specific story you're writing. Know 100 rules and watch 1,000 movies, and then imagine. Go on impulse. Feel and guess and make stuff up. That's it. Go write something. If you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Leave me comments, ask me questions in the comments section of this video, or go to writingforscreens.com for a 68-hour streaming series, you schmuck. Not only is there no answer, but that's backwards. Not only is there, you just can't get this right, you fool. Think about riding a roaster of life on Earth. On dearth. Dearth. Fuck, the last word of the line and I messed it up. Mixing up all papoos.